Okay, everybody. Hello and welcome to Connect Advanced AI. This is the pitch competition that brings together leading members of the media with startups offering innovative products and solutions involving artificial intelligence. My name is Jim Glade, and I'm a partner at Publicize, which is a PR firm for growth. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Charlie Panel, as well as Salome Muriel, who helped organize today's event. We're really pleased to be joined by a host of leading journalists who report in the fields of startups, technology, business, and much more. And we're equally privileged to host 6 very exciting startups offering innovative AI solutions across multiple industries as they pitch their ventures in front of these distinguished media judges. We'll also be holding a Q&A event with the media judges at the end of the competition. So any attendees or panelists that wish to ask questions directly to the media judges, it's really a good time to do so. Collectively, we have decades of experience from the journalists on the panel today. Before we begin, I also wanted to mention if any startups have any questions regarding PR, please feel free to reach out to me at jim@publicize.co. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and we'll introduce our judges. Judges, when I call out your name, maybe if you can just say hello and unmute so we can put a face to a bio. First up, we have Amrita Khalid, who's a former technology reporter for Inc. magazine, one of the world's leading business magazines. She covered some of the world's leading technology companies, including Facebook and Apple. Before joining Inc., Amrita was a reporter for Quartz magazine, which was once owned by Atlantic Media, and she's also reported for The Daily Dot, Engadget, National Journal, and many more. Amrita, it's always a pleasure to host you, so thanks for coming back and joining us.
Yeah, glad to be back. Thanks.
It's good to see you. Next up, we have Todd Martins, who is the interactive entertainment writer for the Los Angeles Times, where he covers everything from video games to virtual reality to Hollywood and theme parks. Before joining the newspaper of record in California and the West, Todd also worked as a staff reporter for Billboard magazine. So Todd, thanks for joining us as well.
Cool, thanks for having me.
It's good to have you. Next up, we have Karen Veliz, who is a regular contributor to Forbes Centro America, the Spanish language version of the world's most popular business magazine that focuses on the Caribbean and Latin American region. She's also a regular contributor to Social Geek, one of the leading technology blogs in Latin America, among other publications. And she also works as a communications associate at Publicize. Karen, thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. Next up, we have Ray Fernandez, who is a contributing writer at Tech Republic, the leading trade publication for information technology professionals, and which was kind of formed as part of the CNET network of technology publications. His work has also appeared in publications like Bloomberg, Hacker News, SlashGear, and many others. And Ray's also a content writer, and his work for ghostwriting for clients has been featured in big publications, including VentureBeat, TechCrunch, Entrepreneur, and many more. Ray, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you.
It's good to have you here too, Ray. I think your microphone's a little off, just as a heads up.
Okay, thank you. I'll just adjust.
Gotcha. Next up, we have Tiago Alves, who is a longtime editor for CNN Brazil, the country's Portuguese language affiliate from the popular cable news network. He's also a reporter at Brazil Reports, covering politics, business, technology, and society for the English language news outlet that covers the South American nation. Tiago, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
It's good to be here. And last but not least, we have Valentina Zabala, who's a regular contributor to Entrepreneur magazine in Espanol, the Spanish language version of one of the leading business entrepreneurship news publications. She also regularly publishes in Latin America Reports, an English language news publication from the region, as well as Horasis, which is a global think tank founded by the former Asia director of the World Economic Forum. Valentina, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm super happy to hear all the startups today.
Thanks, Valentina. All right, well, we're really happy to have all of you with us. And again, we really look forward to your valuable insights. We'll go ahead and begin the pitch competition. Startups, I'll bring everybody on and I'll pass you the presenter role so you'll be able to share your screen. You'll be pitching for 2 minutes and I will be timing you. After each pitch, we'll open up for comments and questions from the journalists. And journalists, I encourage you, please, it's very informal. Go ahead and unmute, speak out, and we can have a nice conversation and feedback session after each of the pitches. To start us off today, we have Madhav Srinath, who's the managing director of Nexus Leap. Madhav, give me 1 second, sir, and I'll pass you the presenter role. Sorry, Madhav, here you go. All right, you should be able to share your screen.
All right, I'll get started. Cool, all set?
We can't see your screen just yet, Madhav.
Cool, it's loaded. We'll give it a
Yes,
second.
still loaded. There you go.
Perfect. Perfect.
So whenever you're ready, sir, I'll start the timer.
All right, I'm ready. All right, let's start off with what is AI? It has 2 primary functions. AI can learn and guess. I'd love to contrast what we as human beings do when we learn and guess and what AI does when it learns and guesses. We as human beings learn directly through things like books in school and indirectly by experiencing the world around us. But AI learns directly by running algorithms over a ton of data. And on the guessing side of things, human beings sometimes forget something they've already learned, but AI never forgets and has perfect recall. But human beings do really well adapting to new situations without having had experience in it. But AI adapts poorly unless taught not to do so. So with that in mind, we have some amazing advanced AI companies here like iCurie, Curie, WeBoard, SportsBiz. And what I'm sure you do really well is build cutting edge algorithms that work well to solve complicated problems. And that AI learns and guesses really, really quickly. What sometimes is challenging is when you're scaling your company, you don't have a great way of storing and computing a ton of data, and you don't have a great way of incorporating the human being into the AI learning process. Now, the components of an advanced AI product, you have the algorithm itself, but you also have dashboarding infrastructure and data engineering. We take care of the data engineering, infrastructure, and dashboarding so that advanced AI companies can focus on what you do best, the advanced AI. And why should you listen to us? Well, we're a highly skilled and certified team of data engineers and product professionals, and we have customers that absolutely love us. We help them with their biggest initiatives with billion-dollar companies and startups alike. And we have a very unique business model where we start up with the diagnostic, and then we have a long-term subscription model where we're around to help as needed, but it's not for an hourly basis. Thank you so much for having me. It's really good to connect. Please reach out to me if you have any questions.
All right, Madhav, and under time as well. And for those listening at home, it was his first ever pitch. So I think you knocked it out of the park, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
We'll open up for any questions or comments from the media panel. If anybody wants to start us off, I'm not sure, Ray, Valentina. Anybody have any questions for Madhav?
Well, first of all, yeah, I agree that you did great. Like it was very concise, very straight to the point. I'm impressed. I do want to ask, what are your plans on expansion? I know you mentioned that you are currently bootstrapped, but I wanted to ask, like, what is the next step for Nexus Leap?
Good question, Valentina. So we started about 3 years ago. So we plan to be around forever. We're fully bootstrapped. I don't think we plan on changing that. We're not looking for venture funding as of now. However, we do have capabilities in-house to build a accompanying product that we also want to get out in terms of just getting customers immediate value out of a product. as well as the services side of things. So that's being built as we speak right now. I can't pitch it quite yet because it's not ready yet, but it will be ready. And so maybe next time, Jim, I'll help you back up for another pitch. But for now, we're focusing on services. We focus on everything else accompanying AI. We plan on building that along with the product, which will allow us to scale better.
Okay, could you please explain to me a little bit more about your business model? How does it work? I know you mentioned first is the diagnostics and then like
Yeah.
from there you take on, but could you please explain how is your business model differentiating from other startups?
Definitely. So we are a services company as of now, pure services, Valentina, right? So what we want to try to do is we want to first understand the company's problems that we work with. So the diagnostic project, the whole idea here is to really evaluate current state data architecture and infrastructure, and also evaluate what the maturity curve is for them and where they live in that maturity curve for AI and advanced analytics. With that in mind, we also deliver a proof of concept project with the whole intention of saying this is a small bit of what we can do, but we actually want to advise you along the way. So the idea is not for us to come in and do all the work. We can if you need to, but we're actually better suited to advise current engineers who are really good at what they do with just what they need to have the cloud infrastructure expertise that they need. So that's where we are different from other services companies. We're not trying to put bodies on projects. We're really trying to be advisors for existing teams of engineers so that they are up to date on the latest cloud advancements, and they just have just a little bit of help as they go through the process and scale their companies.
Gotcha. Well, impressive. Just one last question, Gene. I'm sorry, but I'm very interested in what Malav is doing, and like, is there any specific personal or like professional experience that led you to create Nexus Leap?
Maybe we should talk offline, Valentina. It's a longer story, but I will say I've been in consulting for a long time, and I've done some product management leadership kind of work. And what I've realized is I really like working on new problems all the time. One thing amazing about this is I get to work with my wife full time. I think she's an audience member here. It's funny, it's outside of what we do for as a business, but it's also what drives me to continue doing this every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So, question.
Yes.
So I was wondering, so what exactly can your company offer another company that like one of the big four consulting firms can't? Like if like a potential client comes to you and it's kind of skeptical and would rather kind of go with the big names, what do you do to kind of convince them to be on board with you?
It's a good question, Rita. We face that every day. The main thing that differentiates us is we start with the client problem first. So the diagnostic is really integral to that process. A lot of the big companies don't have a model that allows some level of small advisory work over a long period of time. They have models where they put many people on projects for a small amount of time so they can move on to other projects. Our goal is to grow with the company, not necessarily to build ours. And that alone starts off the differentiating process for us. I can always go on about how much more skilled we are, how much more we love what we do. That's definitely a part of it. But I think something tangible is the fact that we're here to be, aligned with the company's scaling goals. So we're along the way for all of it, but we're not incentivized to put more time just because it needs it. Hopefully that helps. I'm still working on that, by the way.
All right.
Can I have a question, Jim?
Sure. Sorry.
Hi, Madhav. Congratulations for your presentation. It's great work. So I just would like to ask you, how big your company is?
We are 6 people full-time right now. That involves all functions right now, including the execution functions and some of the back office functions.
That's cool. Congratulations.
And obviously, like everyone, we have plans to scale, but we're bootstrapped and we love our size right now. So yeah, probably going to stay small and scale small as well.
All right, Madhav. Well, congrats on your first pitch. Again, I think you did a really good job. So I'm happy that it was here with us first. And yeah, we'd love to have you back when you're ready for that new product as well.
Thanks so much, Jim. Thanks, everyone.
All right, folks. We'll go ahead and we'll bring up our next presenter. We're going to bring on Carolina and Christiana, I believe, from IQ, if that's correct.
Yeah, it's Christina.
Christina, sorry about that.
No
Christi-
worries.
I'm sorry about that. We'll update the name real quickly. I was wondering which one would like to have the presenter role to share their screen?
That'll be me, if
You
that's all
got
right.
it. Of course. All right. I've just given you
Great.
the presenter role, so you should be able to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Great. Everyone can see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we are IQ, an AI-powered insights platform. Now I'm going to start by setting the scene with the problem, which is that traditional insights companies and social listening tools nowadays focus on analyzing numerical and text metrics, and they're missing out on extremely valuable information that's provided by content itself. And when you add to that, key decision makers are actually making decisions based on outdated, obsolete information because they're using static info that's provided in boring PDF formats that are missing context rather than this real-time dynamic data with quite flexible cross comparisons. And we're the solution because we actually go that step further. What sets us apart is that we employ this combination of traditional social media analytics with our proprietary AI software, which we've trained with industry experts, and intuitive data storytelling that's blended with our industry expertise. What all of that really means is that we're actually able to analyze what's going on within the content itself. So not only can we tell you whether a post is dynamic or static, but what's going on within it. Do I see a person, a product, or both? Does product ingredients feature visually or as part of audio? So our in-depth analysis actually allows us to transform unstructured data into a comprehensive data narrative, which unlocks this wealth of new insights that can give key decision makers a competitive edge. What we also do is help brands have a positive impact on the environment and communities by shedding light on consumers, competitors, and themselves and their communication about and engaging with the sustainability and diversity topics. Now, our business model is divided into two. We've got our SaaS subscription, which provides direct access to real-time data, and we've got a consulting department which crafts studies. And ultimately, our goal is to revolutionize how brands interact with social media. Thank you very much.
All right, fantastic presentation, Christina. Thank you so much. We'll open up for any questions from the media panel.
Hi, I have I think a couple of questions. So you said that this is basically analyzing social media and all the data that basically everyone puts into social media. What are the main target or the main social medias that you usually analyze, and also what is the period of time in which you analyze the data?
So great question. At the moment, we're analyzing Instagram and TikTok. One of our up and coming developments is actually the integration of TikTok and what's going on trend-wise, analyses-wise, onto the dashboard itself. So we're very excited about that because that's launching very soon. And our historical data can go back probably around 2-3 years, depending on what the client's looking for. And our clients tend to be brand, but also retailers. So we are very much looking at a big beauty house such as Estee Lauder companies and everyone that works within that. They are actually currently one of our clients as well, which is super exciting, as well as a retailer such as Sephora, Space NK, etc.
That's great, thanks.
I also have a question. Hi, Christina. Huge consumer of social media and cosmetic products over here. I was checking on your website, more specifically on the part of diversity and sustainability monitor. So I wanted to ask, like, how can the IQ diversity and sustainability monitor, which I'm reading that can identify and track the skin tone, age, gender, and help business take action to address concerns around gender equality. and well, racial diversity, inclusion, climate change. Like, are you seeing that this is having a broader impact into your consumers? And do you believe that this is now a top priority in the market?
Absolutely. So really exciting because it is something that we've been spending a lot of time on. In addition to everything you've mentioned, we actually have also brought on the analysis of hair type. So we're now also able to analyze what hair type an individual has if an individual is represented in content. And that ranges from type 1 all the way across to 4. And we actually developed that together with a hair brand client. So we're quite confident in that. And when it comes to skin tone, we use the Fitzpatrick scale for that monitor. It is something we see being incredibly impactful, and also something that especially this Gen Z consumer is making purchasing decisions on, both representation, inclusion and diversity, as well as sustainability. One of our initial clients came to us from this internal report that we did on diversity and inclusion that then got picked up in some top tier media outlets. And we did this whole report for them on diversity, inclusion, representation. And they actually ended up growing their engagement levels by over 110% by taking those metrics and insights on board and basically monitoring their progress and making sure that they were speaking to that consumer in a way that the consumer wanted to be spoken to. Same thing with sustainability. We're seeing that if brands aren't being current when it comes to talking about sustainability, not just saying that you're sustainable, but really explaining to the consumer what it is that makes you sustainable, the consumer's just not paying any attention to you. So absolutely, those are two huge topics that we see really impacting.
This is amazing, Christina. Could you, like, perhaps, I'm not sure if you're allowed, but name drop some of the cosmetic companies that you're currently working with?
So I'm allowed to name them, but I'm not allowed to like share logos. It's one of those things. So we're currently working with Chanel Beauty, which we're super excited about, as well as a number of brands inside of the Estee Lauder company portfolio. We've recently started with hair care brands within the Wella portfolio, and we're also working with a number of fragrance brands. So it's really ranges across the cosmetics and beauty industry. Yeah. So our kind of know-how is constantly evolving and increasing.
Pretty impressive, Christina. I'll make sure to follow up with you through LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Thank you. We'd love that.
I was just curious, quick question. It's impressive technology, and thanks for the presentation. You know, if there were any sort of long-term objectives of maybe looking beyond sort of the beauty and the cosmetic industry, or even a consumer-facing sort of version of a product that helps consumers sort of make choices along their way, or yeah, anything that comes to mind.
Absolutely. So we started with beauty, but it's an AI and a software that can absolutely work across different industries. So we started teetering with the idea of expanding into hospitality, which we have done for some smaller projects, but we've got a number of really exciting developments in the pipeline, which includes this idea of integration of TikTok, like I mentioned, as well as some open AI stuff. So that's definitely something that we've got in the pipeline for the future, but we are honing in beauty at the moment. Oh, and in terms of the consumer facing, I mean, that's a great idea. It's not something that we've thought about yet, but something that we could definitely actually look into exploring.
Awesome, cool. Getting new ideas and everything at Connect too as well. Yeah. Well, Christina, fantastic presentation, and also congratulations on all those partnerships. Those names are really huge. So obviously, you guys are doing a great job. So congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much for your feedback and for your time. All right, folks, we'll move on to our next presenter. We'll bring up Michael from Curie. Michael, give me 1 second and I'll pass you the presenter role. All right, you should be able to have it now. And
can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. And whenever you're ready, Michael, we'll begin the timer.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Michael Augustin, founder and CEO of Curie. Curie uses generative AI to supply luxury-grade 3D digital twins for virtual try-on and virtual showrooms at scale. The web was never built to experience products. Brands like Nike and Gucci need the immersion of physical retail for higher sales. Curie bridges that gap between the 2D web and physical stores with generative AI to convert photos to 3D models that works end-to-end with major immersive 3D platforms. Our products are live on Bloomingdale's, and we have multiple customers who serve Farfetch, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and more. Curie is funded by Farfetch, and we're currently digitizing a library of over 25,000 shoes with brands such as Nike and Adidas. Curie makes money with a pay-per-use SaaS model, so for every view, Curie gets paid. Our go-to-market is to target platforms that require 3D to scale, leveraging top-to-top relationships with resellers and brands. Businesses like Virtual Try-On and showrooms are ideal because 99% of their customers don't actually have 3D content. We already have signed customers and pilots in play to digitize over 1 million products worth potentially over $1 million in revenue per month. Our beachhead, our Virtual Try-On, and the showroom market. Bottom up, we see this as an addressable market of $2 billion, growing by a magnitude of 10 as Curie approaches all 3D commerce, and a magnitude of 100 as Curie starts to integrate with all 3D experiences. Our end game is to be the registry for 3D digital twins, powering a new generation of apps, becoming the dominant way to experience products. Our team is made up of serial entrepreneurs. We're ex-Apple, Farfetch, and Microsoft, and we've done generative AI and real-time 3D before it was cool. Curie is funded by top investors in AI, 3D, and commerce. We have product market fit, we have closed major brands, and we have early revenue with high contract growth. Curie is raising a seed to grow existing contracts, acquire new customers, and expand to additional 3D platforms. And that's Curie. Thank you for your time.
Very impressive, Michael, on everything you built so far, and great presentation as well. So thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
We'll open up for questions from the media panel. I'm not sure, Ray or Amrita, if you guys have any questions you want to start off.
Yeah, I was wondering how you use AI specifically for modeling, and how much of your AI technology is fully automated. How much do you really use manual and artisan input? And just, go into the details of the technology that you use.
Cool. So the questions were how we use AI, how we use it in modeling, how much is automated, and how much artist input is used. I guess we use a generative form of AI based on sort of traditional GANs, and we use a multitude of techniques spawning from, inspired by traditional photogrammetry and NeRF. I guess the entire process is fully automated. We, if given enough photos, typically we don't need to do any fixes at that point, and so you can get your asset within 2 minutes. Because unlike other generative AI, which doesn't need to focus on anything that looks real, we have to have a lot of fidelity with our client projects, and so for that, we have a QC process that if we identify any artifacts, we can go fix that within a few days. And then that enables us to work with hundreds of assets per month.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiago, I saw your hand up if you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah. Hi, Michael. Congratulations for the great presentation and your
Thank you.
Your business. So I just wondering, what are the biggest challenges for your business?
So the biggest challenge I would say is a lot of the sales process. I feel that because we have Farfetch as an investor, that's enabled us top-to-top relationships with major luxury brands, those that have high margin to invest in immersive retail, and also require immersive retail. A lot of these stores or brands require these stores, and we help bridge that gap, helping to enable higher conversion rates for these brands. And so these relationships are very hard to reproduce. And because we're the only generative AI company that Farfetch has invested in, we pretty much have exclusive access to 2D and 3D assets to be able to train on a luxury grade level. Just like any AI, you need quality to output quality. And so you can't just find someone off the street to train AlphaGo to beat the best Go players. Same thing for luxury artists. These artists are very hard to find and scale. And so we were able to take that level of quality and make that scale to hundreds of thousands of products without degrading in quality, for that group of 3D talent.
Okay, that's great. So just one last question for me. What would you say are your strategies in terms of attracting new clients?
So our strategy is to be the best at very particular categories, focusing on things like shoes and bags. That enables us a foothold to grow into other catalogs like furniture and home goods. So just like how Amazon started with books, we feel that shoes and apparel are the books of 3D. Right. So now today, Amazon does things like milk. Had they started with that, the milk would spoil before it get to you. And so we're starting with areas where computer vision is great at serving. And so that enables these companies to basically scale the bell curve of the products that typically convert on their websites.
Thank you.
Michael, it's interesting. You did mention home decor, and I know of a couple of products that are out there now that are enabling like 3D models of homes, so you can kind of see how you can redesign your home. And I'm wondering, have you guys really taken a look into that market yet, or is that kind of on the? And how do you see the AI element being a competition for some more established players like Decorilla, Modsy, etc.? Yeah, just wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so these companies are really focused on creating a showroom instead of actually generating the assets. They actually employ large armies of 3D artists to be able to run, and that could potentially be 10 to 25% of their base cost. So these costs don't change regardless of what industry you're in, whether you're making a Marvel movie or a video game. And so we're hoping to bring down that cost of 3D. CAD has been around pretty much forever. So this is a well-known cost that every company has to face at some point. And so because generative AI is relatively new, this is not a technology that they're specialized in. And so we can take that operational expertise and bring that to different types of companies that require 3D to function. And because 99% of their customers don't actually have a 3D model to start with, we can effectively 100x the business and the type of customers that they have access to and the type of models they can employ. I think the reason why you would want to use real products in your space is for that perceived value. What would Gran Turismo be without Ferrari and Lamborghini? And so having Crate & Barrel and West Elm in your 3D experiences adds a lot of perceived value and cachet to your experience, wanting more people to engage.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Michael. Well, if there's no other questions for Michael. No? All right. Well, Michael, great presentation and congratulations on everything you built. This is super interesting for sure. We'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you much for your time.
All right. Michael Licuri, everybody. We'll bring up our next presenter, Steve from SportsBiz. Steve, give me 1 second and I will pass you the presenter role, sir.
Well, thank you. I'll just get my screen.
You should be able to share now.
There we go. Over here. Are you able to hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly. We're waiting on the screen to load. So just one second before
do
you
you-
start.
Do you see the
Ah.
screen at the moment?
Now we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So whenever you're ready,
Wonderful.
please feel free.
Jim, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here today with you all. And my name is Steve Feuerstein. I'm the founder and CEO of SportsBiz. This is my sixth startup. And I've been in the same space for many decades, which is sports marketing and sports sponsorship. So I want you to think along with me. Imagine you're a brand. Let's say we're all Coca-Cola. And right now we want to sponsor a team, a league, an event, an athlete. And the question is, what do we do as a team to do so? There are 50,000 choices of athletes, teams, leagues, associations, stadiums, venues, and events. How do we even begin to make that decision? And historically, it's always been done by humans. Number two is there's a place you go through. It's called matching with the right fit. How do you make that decision? Once you and I have decided to say sponsor an athlete like Messi, what do we do to maximize that relationship? And then finally, the holy grail of our industry is we spent these millions and millions of dollars, but what value did I get? How do I even know what I got out of it? Number two is the pain points in this industry are vast. $100 billion is spent globally on sports sponsorship by marketing managers and brand managers. 50% of that is misaligned. We're building all different types of solutions for companies, for sponsors that want to reach the mindscape of consumers to impact them effectively. We have quite an elite team. Dave Moore just joined us as chairman of the board. He was the president of the WPP Digital. He sold his company to WPP for $649 million. Charlie Boyle, former head of data science solutions, is our head of analytics, and a whole crew of really talented folk. I'll just point out one thing. We have a business model from micro solutions all the way up to custom design. We're raising $3.5 million. We just finished a pilot with Wells Fargo. And this pilot demonstrated 150% return on assets spent. So for 25 grand, we demonstrated over 150 million in value. And just to show you quickly our product in the last 10 seconds, this is a taste of our artificial intelligence where the client can see all of the exposure on CBS, on NBC. This is just our first solution. All different types of pain points they go through, seeing their different impressions that have been exposed on air. And then most importantly, understanding what are those pain points? How does technology help you resolve those? And seeing how we can save you money all throughout the sponsorship process. There's a lot more obviously to share with you. Again, it's Steve Feuerstein, SportsBiz. We're a team of about 8 to 10 full-time folk, raising 3.5 million. And we're delighted to be here at this function with you today.
Steve, congratulations. That's really awesome and super interesting. So great presentation. We'll open up right away to any questions. I think Amrita, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead.
So I have a question. So as more streaming platforms are taking on live sports, I guess I was just wondering what your thought process was about kind of integrating streaming.
Thank you, Amrita. So we're building solution by solution. So our platform is called Deep Sports Solutions. So think of Microsoft, we're SportsBiz. Windows is our Deep Sports Solutions. And then throughout the 3 stages of sponsorship, you've got think of us as the 3M of sports sponsorship and sports marketing, which is the match stage. How do I know the optimal fit? I've never been able to figure that out. I have tens of thousands of choices. I have the match stage. Now that I'm sponsoring an athlete, team, league, association, stadium, or event, what do I do with that athlete or that team or that event? How do I maximize my sponsorship? And then how do I measure? Our first solution, our MVP, which we just launched, is a TV, web, and social media solution where we give a value analysis where they can see every single impression. And we're agnostic to any sport. So imagine you sponsored a golf tournament and there are 14 hours of exposure on the Golf Channel and CBS. That's cable and free-to-air national exposure. We capture every single one of the 35 different types of media exposure, and that can be qualified as what's physically at an event. You're there watching as a spectator. The TV viewer sees it as well. And we literally can touch it. It's a caddy bib. It's a hole flag. It's a sign in the outfield of a baseball game or on the side of the court of a basketball tournament. We actually capture all the zeros and ones of graphic superimposition. and then audio references. We do that using YOLO 7. It's an open source model, which we then built upon our own algorithm. Tyler Boras, our lead data scientist, is a military veteran with 18 years AI expertise. And our first algorithmic deployment was literally object identification with performance score output. So we cover both terrestrial, that's linear television, that's free to air, you turn on your TV, whatever is seen on television, cable and streaming platforms, as well as web and social. That is our first solution called TV Analysis Recommendation Engine. We're building about 20 different solutions. The next up is social impact, Amrita. But to answer your question, again, in summary, we cover streaming, we cover free to air, and we cover cable, and we do that all automated. So if we got deeper into what I just showed you at the end, that is all automated AI and automation driven.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Valentina, if you wanted to go ahead.
Sure. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Valentina.
Lovely presentation. Could you please familiarize me a little bit more on, I mean, like, I know this market is insanely big with, you know, like the Super Bowl, the World Cup that just happened, like, plus now you say that also the streaming platforms are booming right now. Could you please explain to us, how do you envision your company or your startup in the next 5 years?
Sure. So I've been in this industry. I went over to Asia to learn Chinese a long time ago, and I started my company in there in the 90s. And I used to own professional sports events, domestic, regional, and global. I have watched this industry change decade to decade. And always the bottom line is, we know that sports has an ability, and everyone on this call, that you and I both know we resonate. There's something about the power of amateur or professional sport or esports, which is also professional, that we can affiliate with, that we have a passion behind. And where this industry is going, without a shadow of a doubt, and we're all experiencing it right now with just this tip of the iceberg with GPT models and what's being built on top of that. But I think what you're going to see is ultimately an evolution where the consumer is going to, in the 90s and 2000s, we had home theaters. I think in the future, you're going to see home arenas. So you're not going to have to go to the stadium. I think those who want to go to a stadium and have a meaningful experience are not going to have, there will be in the future, in the next 8 to 10 years, no home games or away games, because you're going to see play while the New York Giants are playing the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. 80,000 fans will be at the stadium in Giant Stadium watching the Giants play on their home field. There are so many evolutions of fan engagement, how we engage fans to have these more visceral personal experiences with athletes, with teams, with leagues, etc. For our purposes, we're focused on the money of sport. So it's focused not on the performance of the athlete or the performance of the game. We're performance on, we've spent, you and I as a brand, as let's call it again, Lexus instead of Coke. We spend all this money to reach the mindscape of a consumer who's passionate about some aspect of sport, but at the same time, 50% of that money is wasted. Finally, we can use technology so that our product, Deep Sport Solutions, it basically serves the client their own in-house, think of it as their own in-house AI agency. With their qualitative inputs, and we call it Kaiko instead of Geico. Qualitative inputs, Deep Sport will drive the qualitative output. So if I want to do a campaign in San Francisco and impact 38 to 48-year-old African-American, upper middle class, lower upper class consumers, because we at Lexus, as an example, sponsor the Black Panther 1 and 2, both movies, but I have only 12 golfers in my portfolio. Well, those 12 golfers have nothing in common with the African-American market upscale in San Francisco. It's just not the right sport fit. So they need to use a tool above and beyond the human brain that says, how can I make sense of 20,000 athlete choices that reach the passions of my consumer? In the most immediate future, the integration of audio and chat, so Chat GPT as OpenAI source, but just general GPTs, along with what will ultimately become audio inputs, in right now, we are, as we speak, integrating that into our platform so that, again, it's all about client control. They must determine their future. And I'll close off with one comment on your very important question. Mark Pritchard, who is my client, CMO of Procter & Gamble, I worked with hundreds of different brands. I used to represent 400 athletes, and I own dozens and dozens of major sports events in PGA and ATP and WTA, et cetera. He said the other day, we must regain control of the 150 brands we own. We have ceded control to third-party agencies, PR agencies, ad agencies, sports marketing agencies, rights owners for so many decades. And they come to us and they say, hey, Head and Shoulders, here are 3 choices of events you should sponsor. And it is such a problem for brands. They spend an inordinate amount of money on it. They don't know what they're getting. And by the way, those same agencies come back to them after they chose the sponsorship, executed the marketing for them, then give them a management report and say, here's how well we did. There are many, many pain points that today Deep Sport through SportsBiz, our parent company, is solving. And I think you're going to see this integration of audio, of chat, of giving ultimately, distilling it to client control of decision-making on the analytics and understanding why they made that decision and not yielding to intuition or just some guy third-party agency. And we're disrupting that extraordinarily.
Just like the example you showed us from Wells Fargo as well, right? Like the changing of the logo, like the recommendations.
And think how much money they save not having to go back to the agency. Think how much money they save on their in-house graphic department, not having to, we give as a turnkey to them, all automated. And again, that's just our first of many solutions. The next one up is a campaign ideation where they can literally want to do a campaign in San Francisco, hitting that upper class market. Great. We will ideate campaign ideation automatically using AI, ideates those campaigns for them. Social impact is another major one for us, which is up in the next 3 months for our company. So we do it case pain point by pain point in the match, maximize, and measurement phases of the $100 billion spend on sports sponsorship.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Valentina.
Thank you so much, Steve.
I saw Ray and Todd with hands up, but I'm not sure if maybe your questions were answered, but please go ahead, Ray, if you still have one, or Todd.
Yeah, well, that was a lot. Thank you, Steve. I can see you're really passionate about this, and I do know sports is huge and brings in passion and a lot of data. This is massive. So I'm just wondering, about the AI. A lot of people are talking about being data-driven instead of going with decisions that, are based on what. But I'm just wondering about your AI applications. How transparent are they? Have they been verified by a third party? Can a user, instead of just seeing the results, understanding how the algorithm works, what metrics it is using? For example, you measure success of a campaign, but what exact metric is the algorithm using to measure that campaign? I think transparency. Yeah, it's a big issue.
So again, respecting that there are other presenters today, I'll try to tackle that very surgically. Number one is, yes, we were vetted when Dave Moore, who was the chairman and founder of 24/7 Real Media, who just literally, we had a release this week about joining as chairman of the board. We had an external major tech company that worked for WPP, the largest ad agency in the world, come and due diligence all our code, both data science side, as well as front end and back end. Number one, we have 10 different algorithms that we deploy, and all of it is in-house, iterated. Number three, when you look at the work and understanding data in today's world, going back to your and Valentina's question, it's really important that we all always keep in mind, we've commoditized data at this point. We have this world we're in is moving at such a pace that 3 years ago, data, content was king. But today, you got to go beyond data. And if you can't validate for the brand and they can't understand the methodology and you're not transparent with them, you're going to have no traction. There is no black box in our world. So every aspect of every solution we have, they see an explanation of the actual technology. They see an explanation of the methodology. They don't see necessarily the algorithmic model or the mathematical model. I don't think that they really want to get into those weeds. But at the end of the day, I think what they demand today is we're moving at such a clip that our motto actually at SportsBiz is beyond data. So we own all the data. Every data point that you would have seen of those millions of multivariate queries, if we had more time, and there's a lot more visuals there, all of that data is owned by SportsBiz. It's organically generated. So from those 14 hours of golf, for example, or any tournament, all data points are generated by our AI. All of those performance scores are outputted by our machine learning. Every one of our recommendations is done in concert with, as you know, the evolving UX UI opportunities of how you prescribe. And you better be an expert at what you do. You know, fortunately, we have teams that have been doing this for multiple decades, and you got to check the ego at the door. In fact, you better not check the ego at the door. You better not have the ego to check. And you've got to be so humble in recognizing that we all know very little, and we're trying to keep up to the best of our ability with a changing landscape almost on a daily basis.
Thank you. I think transparency is like the big issue in AI to make it work, and just avoiding black box AI. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
All righty, Steve. Well, brilliant what you've built so far, and congratulations on all your other startups as well. And thanks for joining and sharing with us today about SportsBiz and Deep Sport.
Thank you for having me, Ray. Thank you very much.
All right. We are at the end of the road, as it were. We're going to have one more presenter. I wanted to take this time really quickly just to mention to the judges, if you could please make sure that you're judging along in real time so that we can announce a winner right at the end of this this last presentation. I'm going to bring up, last but not least, Martin from WeBoard. Martin, give me a second here and I'll pass you the presenter role.
Yeah, sure.
All righty, Martin, you should be able to share your screen when you're ready.
Yep. Can you see it okay?
Yes, sir. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, here you go. Hi, I'm Martin, the co-founder of WeBoard that created Kayla. And let me start with one bold statement. Searching for information really sucks, right? People spend like 31% of their working time searching for information that is scattered across various data pools. Important time that they can use more productively. Kayla is a knowledge assistant that uses large language models and performs semantic analysis on your documentation, knowledge bases, or previous support tickets, and then provides relevant answers. While ChatGPT is a great tool for creating new content, its enclosed environment limits the capacity to tailor replies with company-specific factual data, something that Kayla is capable of doing. Kayla Studio allows for easy upload of any text-based data, and one-click integrations enable a quick start for any company. Kayla is like a magic box where you put all the text-based data inside, and you have the company's collective wisdom at your fingertips. You can simply imagine Kayla as a Siri for companies. Kayla helps both users who need to find important information in the knowledge base and support agents to quickly find answers to answer customer queries. There is definitely a lot of competition in the AI bot segment, but Kayla is a market leader in terms of deployment velocity and data accuracy, making it a highly competitive solution. We're targeting a chatbot and customer support software markets, and the combined global market size is expected to reach 81 billion by 2030. Kayla is in the MVP stage and with 7 ongoing POCs. And we've just launched our official public beta yesterday on Product Hunt, where we finished as number 6 out of about 80 other products at the end of the day. And our business model is based on subscriptions, the amount of which varies according to the number of AI agents created, and especially the amount of queries Kayla answers. And Kayla has 3 founders and a very experienced development team that has previously worked on advanced AI projects. So that is Kayla, and help us to change the way we get information. Thank you very much.
All right, Martin, great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll open up for any questions from the media panel. Ray, I know you're well-versed in AI as well, if you might have a question as well for Martin.
Yeah, well, these are like agents, AI agents, kind of avatars focused on the enterprise world, call center. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of concern about how companies use these type of models, deep fakes, they say like about 80% of web traffic is done today by bots, and how a lot of companies use them to crowd social media. So it's like, it's not regulated, but there's an ethical line there. I'm just wondering how when you're using cutting edge technology, how does ethics come into play and when choosing clients and how they use it and that?
Yeah. Maybe if it wasn't clear from my pitch that the position where we aim is like customer support segment. Yeah, so we're helping basically users to access information in knowledge bases more easily, and then to employees inside organizations to access internal company specific information again, like faster and with less effort. Yeah, so we our Kayla and our solution is not like is not designed for any outreach communication. Yeah, so it basically only helps people to access very company specific information.
But what is the company's, stand on those kind of issues? I'm aware you're not developing those kind of products, but I'm sure it could be in the future, and they are part of the market you operate in. I'm just wondering what are your personal opinions on those issues?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a big ethical question. Yeah, and every new technology could be used in a good way, in a wrong way, and it always depends on people how they will use it. Yeah, so yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Valentina, maybe you want to go.
Hi, Martin. Well, as I understood that your tool is mainly for customer support teams, right? I wanted to ask you if you have any partnerships put in place. How are you looking forward to grow in this very, very competitive market? And ChatGPT is taking over all the attention from the media and all the attention from the customers. In terms of marketing, like how are you going to highlight yourselves from competitors, even though you're a you're a ChatGPT powered knowledge assistant? Like ChatGPT is not directly your like I would say your competitor. But how are you going to address this segment that is the customer support teams?
Okay, thank you. Great question. Basically, no. For your first part of the question, we don't have any partnerships yet, but we want to partner up with big marketplaces, of big SaaS vendors like Salesforce or whatever, and. As for the competitive advantage, we really want to focus on the data privacy and security for our companies. We don't use OpenAI's GPT models. We run on our own solution. We obviously use some open source large language models, but we have a fully control over it, and we also have our completely own infrastructure and architecture that run on like on-prem solution. So that's why we can ensure a maximum data privacy for the company, because we do not send sensitive company information through OpenAI servers and help Microsoft to build another GPT 5, 6, 7 or whatever. Yeah, so data privacy and security is one of the main issues and main areas of focus for us.
Thanks a lot, Martin.
Thank you. Karen?
Karen, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi. So I remember that when ChatGPT, boomed and everything, there were a few articles mentioning how their data was outdated and how that could affect businesses. My question for you would be, how do you guys keep your data,
Right.
updated, and how do you verify that data?
Yep, great question. Thank you very much. Just so you understand maybe Kayla a little bit better. The great thing is that we basically use large language models only for natural language processing and generating the content based on the company specific information that is stored inside the companies. Yeah, so usually bigger companies where we aim usually have some, let's call it like a knowledge management team, and they like their job is to keep the data updated and ensure that there are only accurate information. And so yeah, being that said, Kayla only works with really updated company information. Yeah, and that's why we are not like dependent on outdated large language models that's been trained 2 years ago.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Martin? Tiago, please go ahead.
Hi, Martin.
Hi.
Congratulations for a great presentation. So I just would like to ask you a question. You said you launched Kayla yesterday, is that right?
Yeah, yesterday.
So, all right, congratulations for that. So what are you doing to publicize your business?
Sorry, was that? Say again? I didn't hear you.
What are you doing to publicize your business? So how would you plan to get more customers, more clients?
Yeah, so for the very the first step is and how we are launching Kayla is through different communities. Yeah, and so we are partnering up with customer support, customer experience communities, as well as HR communities. Yeah, and that's it seems like a great channel through which we can reach a really large number of professionals. And the next stage will be like partnering up with those big marketplaces where we want to really target and some niche audience within these marketplace users and help them or to solve their problems with Kayla.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, Martin. Well, congratulations on everything you built so far. And again, great presentation. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks, Jim.
Sure thing. All right, folks. Well, that is the end. Real quickly, I wanted to ask the judges if you could take 30 seconds just to make any last minute changes that you do want to make before we announce the winner. And while we're doing that, I wanted to open up as well, if anybody from the founders panel or any attendees listening may have specific questions for any of the reporters that are on the media panel. This is a really good time to ask as well. So don't be shy, feel free. I mean, it sounds like Steve, you had already mentioned a press release announcing one of the new chairmen. It sounds like maybe you are already interacting a bit with the media as well. So, but I'm not sure maybe if you have any questions. I know you've been in the industry for a long time as well.
You know, it's interesting, maybe just, I think as a founder, you're always in pursuit of media and you're always in pursuit of making media. You know, I used to be a tri-state radio show host 4 hours a day, 5 days a week in socio-political talk as my second job. And it's very interesting when you're in pursuit of someone that you think has news, and we don't stop and reflect upon the fact that the media has enormous insight in seeing in monitoring these trends. And maybe for me, the only thing that comes through my mind is what does the media feel is essential for what they're seeing in this remarkable 90, 120-day trend, even though it's been out for years, different iterations of GPT. At the end of the day, where do you see brands having to position themselves? And do you feel it's from your vantage point, do you think it's essential that in your mind now, almost that every founder in this call and any other founder has to find a way to incorporate the GPT technology to be relevant to you as a journalist?
Very interesting question, and maybe even AI in general. I think it's something that we've seen kind of over the last five, 10
sure.
years anyway. So I'm not sure, Ray or Amrita, you have any thoughts on that?
I think if it's
Yeah.
if it's a natural
on.
fit, yes. I mean, if you want to integrate Chat GPT, but I feel like what I do want to stress is that, I mean, this technology has been in the news since last fall, maybe, and I think kind of like all the hype and intrigue around it is dying down slightly. You know, I mean, I think people are getting a bit more skeptical about it, and so I think if there was ever a scenario where a company incorporated it in a way that was disastrous or clunky or awkward, it would be a disadvantage. Like, you wouldn't want a ton of attention, right? So if it's a natural fit, yes. If it's not, there's really no reason. You know, if it's not broken, don't. You know, there's really no reason to
So from an editorial standpoint, Amrita and everyone else, you don't feel inordinate pressure to have to hunt down the GPT story.
No.
You feel that you're open to covering other environments as well.
Definitely. No, I pitched a Chat GPT story to my editor last week, and he was like, he liked a couple of my other pitches too. So, you know, there's still a lot of like intrigue, but in a couple of months, who knows where we'll be.
Ray, I saw your hand up too, if you had anything to contribute to that.
Yeah, personally, I think GPT it's gotten bad press, which is not the same as being relevant. You know, it's just been controversial, shocking, and sometimes it's been irresponsible. And maybe that, you know, bad news is good news for newspapers, you know, for media. Personally, I think machine learning models and AI applications can do much more than what ChatGPT has done. And actually, they do much more. You know, and I cover this every day. Machine learning models that are helping businesses and, you know, are creating solutions, are creating better connections, are solving agriculture problems, you know, big climate change, carbon emissions, and measuring carbon footprints. So, and I think ChatGPT is like, you know, a lot flashy, but it's not the way forward. So it's not like serious business, you know. I don't see much business value in being aligned with a chat that mimics a human behavior. But yeah, that's what my perspective, at least.
Thank you, Ray.
Madhav, I saw your hand raised too, if you have a question.
Yeah, follow up to Steve. I do have a question to the rest of the journalists here. We're talking a lot about AI, and it's changed a lot over the last few years. I think we're on that exponential curve where we're going to see a lot more of it. Now with ChatGPT out, we're seeing all these partnerships with these large cloud providers saying, you know what, we're going to partner with someone who's really good at AI and build things together. As reporters, how does that change the way you go after or look for interesting stories again? I think, Ray, the way you mentioned ChatGPT and its shortcomings, and maybe you find ways around that to find, companies that beat what ChatGPT can do, but as you see AI becoming more commoditized, how do you go after and find the cool stories that are not necessarily about AI, but the application of AI and how it can be used to solve some really cool problems?
That's the challenge. And that's the challenge, like to find like timely stories that are like of general interest, but as well like telling a story, not only like telling like promoting a product or a specific company, but just entering to the door of like other specific topics, I think it's really hard to find like a story that hits all of those points. But certainly there are.
Makes sense.
Any other thoughts from the media panel for Madhav's question?
Yeah, I don't think I am, when I'm doing my work, I don't go after a story, like I just want to, brick readers. I think journalists have a responsibility, to talk about certain issues here. For example, you have a data-driven platform, and that keeps, that is interesting, it's public interest. You deal with a lot of pain points which improve companies. So I think the role of journalism is to maybe raise aware and raise flags on what AI is doing, how it actually does it, because people may be amazed, but in the end, it's like, it's two sides of it. You got like more grotesque side of it, like automation and kind of robots doing crazy things. And people love that, but that's not the role of journalism. It's not a circus. So I think if you're doing a good job, and at the end of the day, you're having an impact on your community or your society or the world, I think that's newsworthy. So, and readers do appreciate that. So I've learned too that readers are, appreciative of the more finer things in life, So that's what I would say about that.
Thank you, Ray.
All righty, guys. Well, yeah, I want to thank both Madhav and Steve for some good questions as well. I also want to thank all of the rest of the panelists, all of the founders today that presented. It's not easy to do, and you guys did a really good job. And for those that it was their first time, did a really, really good job. And thanks to the media judges as well. We do have the scores tallied up and we're ready to announce them, but I did want to preface this with, we are about to announce the scores, and there's something that has never happened before in the history of these Connect events that we've been doing for the last 4 years or so. So really, it just is a testament to the great startups that we had today and the competitiveness within this field today. So we actually have two-way ties for some of the third, second, and first place places. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to announce the winners. If everybody would unmute for me, we really love to give a round of applause to the founders that did win. And founders, if when I call your name, if you'd like to say anything, we'd really be happy to listen to you as well. So I'll go ahead and announce the third, second, and first place winners. First, in third place, we have Michael from Curie. Michael, congratulations, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me and the opportunity to present.
No, it was really impressive what you built, Michael, and I look forward to shopping for my next pair of Nikes in 3D someday.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. Now tied for second place, again, this has never happened, but tied for second place, we have Martin from Weeboard, and we also have Madhav from Nexus Leap. So congratulations to both of you, and Madhav as well, for your first time pitching. Second place ain't bad.
Thank you so much. An esteemed company, so just honored to be here. Thank you all.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, thank you very much, and it's a great recognition for us, since we are really early stage. Yeah, so thanks, guys.
Well, congratulations, guys, and really excited to see what you guys build. And like I said, when there's more products down the line, and we'd love to have you back as well for you to pitch them. All right, and in first place, we have Steve with SportsBiz and Christina with IQ, and Carolina as well. Congratulations to both of you guys for tying for first place. That's huge.
Christina, after you, Christina.
Wow, we're honestly very shocked and super excited. It means so much to us because, well, for various reasons, but I mean, we're female founded, heavily female team. So, that's super exciting for us to be in this position. It's a product that we've put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into, and we're still doing that. We're trying to make a difference. Obviously working with brands, but also on the sustainability and diversity front. We are our own clients using the dashboard, so we're always kind of working on it and trying to improve. So thank you so much. We're very excited, and onwards and upwards.
Congratulations, Christina, again.
I'll just say
Thank you
what.
so much, Christina.
Oh, please, Carolina. No,
Carolina.
I was just going to say thank you very much. This was a much more, to be frankly, with all of you, it was, I feel as if we've known each other before. It felt very family. You did Jim, you made it very family-esque. You brought on journalists that were very user-friendly. And it was a really unexpected privilege and I think meaningful. I think I got a lot out of today. So thank you for having me as well.
Thank you very much. And we really appreciate having you. I think what you build in, Steve, is amazing. And we're looking forward to seeing you kind of take off in the next year or so as well. Please, we'd love to have you back. And also Christina, Carolina, everybody that presented today down in the future, we'd love to have you back because everybody was great. So congratulations again to all the startups and to our winners.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
All right, and thank you very much to the media panel. I want to take a quick second just to thank everybody. Amrita, Todd, Karen, Ray, Tiago, Valentina, taking time out of your day to be here with us. It means so much. And also to all the attendees who listened in, a special thanks there, and to my colleagues Charlie and Salome for organizing everything on the back end. Really quickly, folks, we'll be sure to make any connections with anybody on the back end. If you wanted to talk with any of the media or any of the startups, we're really happy to make those connections. It's kind of, as Steve said, all about building connections and kind of making a friendly environment as well. So hope to have everybody back next time. But until then, thank you so much for joining Connect Advanced AI. See you next time. Folks.
Thank you.